Hello there. I'm Cherie Houle. I am starting my YouTube channel for Love of the Body, which is the name of my business, and it has been the name of my business since 2017 because everything I do truly is for love of the body, and so that we can do the best things with the body and optimize it so that it heals as quickly as it can possibly heal and stay healthy for as long as possible and improve our quality of life so that it's the best quality of life you can have till the day you die. So my history is I'm a massage therapist and a myofascial specialist. I've been doing massages professionally for 26 years and I absolutely love it. I have been working with professional athletes since 1997, so 22 years now. And in working with professional athletes and dealing with the specific issues that they have from all the abuses that they do to their body, and from my own personal injuries and abuses as a regular person who gets injured, as well as me being an athlete myself. I've learned all kinds of stuff with fascia. I also went to Everglades University for 2.5 years for alternative medicine. That didn't result in a degree or anything because I found out that they weren't accredited when I went there and wanted to go for acupuncture. So I dropped out, and my Chinese medicine teacher took me under his wing for a couple of years and taught me an enormous amount of stuff on helping heal the body in a more holistic way and teaching me how to slow down and the importance of breathing properly and diaphragmatically. And right now I am on my final class at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and that's one of the top health coaching schools in the country. In January starts all my finals, so I will be officially finished and certified come January. The thing that really got me started in the field of healing and dealing with physical issues and genetic issues, because I was born genetically disadvantaged. My entire family, for the most part, there's a few exceptions, is obese, if not borderline morbidly obese. And then it comes with all the genetic things that go with being obese. Everyone has heart disease, high cholesterol, cancer runs in the family, you name it. Any really bad thing runs in my family. So I have decided a long time ago that I was going to beat genetics, or at least severely restrict them so that I don't get hit with the things that everyone in my family has in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, and hopefully I can push it off until the last few years of my life. That is the goal, is to live the healthiest life and have my body and my brain take me there. I found out that I had a gift for touching, helping, and healing people when I was 8 years old. A little kid in 3rd grade pulled the chair out from underneath me in music class, and I landed on the corner of a concrete riser, and it broke my tailbone, the tip of it completely off, and it angled it in and cocked it off to the left. And I had sciatica as a young child down both legs. I could never sit still, and so I wouldn't get yelled at. I started touching people, and I found out that when I touched people, it helped them feel better, and when I could help somebody else feel better, it actually took some of my physical pain away. So I was like, I'm gonna keep doing this for the rest of my life. I used it so that I didn't have to sit down, because sitting physically destroys my body. It causes so much low back pain that, of course, then goes down to the legs, and sitting in a vehicle is just terrible. It causes sciatica, where you have that dull annoyance on the outside of your leg, and we'll get into all of that stuff later. My first anatomy coloring book, the very first thing that I ever got into for trying to learn about the body and how it works and how it can be manipulated to work better, came to me when I was 12 years old from my best friend Helen's mom, who was a massage therapist. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. I freaking became an anatomy freak by the time I was 12. And beyond that, I would dissect anything I could get my hands on, because I wanted to see how it worked. And frogs were great because, I mean, you can dissect all of this and see how the nerves go through and how the connective tissue actually glides and flows when it's healthy. And then in middle school and high school, back then, you could like give massages to your teachers, and it wasn't so terrible. Nobody would get fired or sued for any misconduct, because it wasn't misconduct. I had a gift, and I was good at helping people feel good, and by me making people feel good, I didn't have to sit down, so it was a win-win. And through high school, of course, I massaged everybody, and I got into massaging the wrestling team and the football team. And I really loved working on athletes and bodies where I could physically see the difference of what I did on the next several days or weeks of them doing their specific sports. So that was amazing. I knew I was totally hooked on being able to touch people, but I was also the nerd. I was 200 pounds by the time I was 13. I was following right in line with the rest of the family. I mean, we didn't have money, and my favorite food was Kraft macaroni and cheese and hot dogs with a ton of ketchup. That was the best for me. I thought it was amazing, and of course, I had ice cream, and my grandparents would take us on long walks with the Dairy Queen at the halfway point. So we would walk like 4 miles so that we could get to a Dairy Queen, and I could have my Butterfinger Blizzard, because that was the best back then. But I also had this issue with getting constant bronchitis because both my parents smoked, like most parents back in the 70s and 80s. But my father did it excessively. He was in excess of 5 to 7 packs a day, sometimes having 2 cigarettes lit at the same time. And mom was 3 packs a day back then, maybe a little less, I'm not sure. Sorry, Mom, if I made you worse than what you were on that aspect, but you were the best mom. I love you. You did everything with us. So I always had bronchitis. I always had upper respiratory infections. I was always on antibiotics, and my grandmother always said, you've got the croup and all that kind of stuff. So I had food allergies back then and didn't know it because we didn't know. And everybody else was eating that way, so I should eat that way. But it turns out that I have a lot of the same problems as my grandmother. I'm allergic to dairy, I'm allergic to sugar. And if I have sugar that's not a natural sugar, I instantly have a sore throat, an earache, and every single joint in my body is screaming, I hate you, you suck. That doesn't work for me. So I have learned about diet, but I didn't start to learn about diet until halfway through massage school, which I started massage school and began my professional business in 1994. And when I started massage school, I had already had 3 clients from the hair salon that I was working at. And when I worked there, I was a shampoo girl. And my first 3 clients, one was an oncologist, one was a neurologist, and one was an orthopedic surgeon. These 3 doctors groomed me to be able to work with any situation, with fresh breaks, with fresh surgeries, with people with immune issues and cancer. They taught me back then how to work the body in ways that won't cause harm, because ultimately the goal is to not ever cause harm, to only do good. So I was working and enjoying everything, and working for myself was amazing. I've worked for myself exclusively since about 96-ish. Other than that, I filled in at the salon if they needed somebody to help out, or I occasionally got a job here or there that never really worked out because none of the people I worked for had the same work ethics as me and didn't look at the body the same as me, and it just didn't work for me. And then in 1997, this is where a lot of things went cuckoo with injuries and issues. I was bit by a monkey in March of 97 in Ocala. Now, it happened to be a friend's monkey, and they didn't have homeowners insurance, so I didn't tell the hospital who they were or anything so that the monkey wouldn't get lobotomized and they wouldn't get in trouble. Then it ended up costing me a lot. I spent 10 days in ICU and another 60 days on antibiotics, 30 of which was every day I had to go in for IV antibiotics, and I had to get rabies shots and all kinds of other stuff. And that was in March. And that set me on a really messed up journey because 3 months later, I had a migraine that lasted for 45 days. I couldn't be raised above 30 degrees from my torso. My head could not be above 30 degrees from my pelvis without my head feeling like it was gonna explode. And I went through spinal taps, you name it, CAT scans, whatever. I went through the ringer on that. And then, man, 1997 tried to kill me. Then I broke my kneecaps, and then I got an infection that they didn't know was an infection. I was diagnosed with an inguinal hernia, and they went in to do surgery and came out with, we removed 20 golf ball sized tumors, and we're sending them out for biopsy. And I had this tube in my leg for I don't even know how many weeks, draining nastiness. And then things got better. A lot of antibiotics. And I continued to get sick every 3 months for the next year and a half, from March of 97. And I got pregnant in November of 97. I kept my beautiful daughter, but I probably screwed her up. I can guarantee I screwed her up because I was on antibiotics at least 3 times during my pregnancy. I'm sorry, Paige. It happened. I didn't know. But in 97, not only did I get pregnant at the very end, but I got my first NFL football player, Terrell Buckley. He's the most amazing, best, least injured athlete I have ever worked on in my entire career. The man played, I believe, 14 years in the NFL, and the only injuries I remember is like jammed ring fingers from intercepting a ball, and right near the end, a little bit of turf toe, but nothing major. It was so amazing working with him. And then I worked with the NFL Players Association until 2007. So, I mean, I have had, I don't know, probably close to 100 NFL players, and more than 30 of them were regular clients through that time frame. So I got a real good working knowledge of what a healthy body feels like and the different types of connective tissue that people have. So some people have super dense connective tissue, and others have really loose connective tissue. And it's so cool working on all the different types and all the different issues that come with the different types. I absolutely love doing massages. And then, of course, I had other issues, major injuries. I would say 2006 was another crazy year that I'm thankful I survived. I rolled an ATV over myself twice while in Grand Lake, Colorado, having a blast. But I had that intuitive hit, and I told it to shut up, and I still went out and I did the ATVing. And what I was concerned with, as I was going down the mountain, I was like, oh my gosh, I can see those big boulders that are the size of the tires rolling and shifting. Oh my God, what would happen if, and it happened. The boulder shifted and it turned my wheel and tumbled me, and I broke 4 ribs. I broke this clavicle. I busted everything up down the right side of me. It rolled over the helmet. I felt it squish the helmet, and the helmet cracked in half. And after that, I didn't have insurance at the time. So I knew nothing could be done for the ribs. The clavicle didn't look broken that bad, but the neck and the spine pain was out of this world. So I started doing everything I knew. I had a chiropractor that I loved, and he worked with me. And a year later, when I finally had insurance and went and had MRIs done, I had 5 herniated discs in my neck and another 2 or 3 in that upper thoracic, and then like 4 down in the lumbar, lower thoracic area as well. So it was like a total of 15 discs that I had bulging or herniated. And so I've had to learn how to rehab myself through these things. And at that time, I had to learn that it's not just the physical things, it's not just the massage, it's not just the exercise, it's not just the stretching. I learned that, you know, food really matters. Food so seriously matters. And when I went to school for alternative medicine, like 20 of my classes were about nutrition. So I had to apply every single thing that I had learned while I was in school to get my pain levels to a point that I could manage. And even no matter how bad my pain was, no matter what was going on, the thing that made my body hurt less than anything, or made my body as happy as it could be, was touching and helping and healing and teaching other people how to heal themselves. Because a lot of us have the same issues to varying degrees. And of course, I take those issues to the extreme, which is not a good thing. But I've been working on it. And then I've had so many different injuries, and I truly don't know, but have a suspicion that when I got bit by the monkey and went through rabies and all those antibiotics for so long, and for like years afterwards of getting sick, plus the years when I was a young kid being on antibiotics, I think it really affected my connective tissue. Because after 2006, the connective tissue injuries that I have had have been so extensive and have been career-ending injuries. And thankfully, because of my knowledge of diet, of exercise, of working connective tissue, and of breathing properly and with intention, I have been able to maneuver and adapt. I am queen of adaptability and modification. I have learned how to modify and adapt anything and everything I do so that I can do it. I will go over a whole bunch of my connective tissue injuries that really started in 2006 with the rolled ATV. And I think all of that antibiotics directly affected the connective tissue as well. In 2008, I broke this wrist and tore 4 ligaments and tore 4 tendons, and it took me over 9 months to heal. And the ultimate thing that helped me heal, after 8.5 months, or 8 months in a cast or a hard splint, and them telling me that I had to have surgery, I learned about pulsed electromagnetic fields. And I got my first PEMF treatment. And I used that mat, which is right here. I used this same model in 2008. After 30 days, my grip strength went from 3 pounds and my thumb flopping off and kind of like just dangling to an 85-pound grip strength, which was the same as my left hand, because being a massage therapist, I had the grip strength of a man. So that finally healed. And then I've tore my left hamstring sprinting. I shot archery professionally, but when I was starting, I went from riding a bike every day or riding a bike 3 times a week for a few hours and hitting the gym 5 times a week for a couple of hours to shooting for 7 or 8 hours a day, and on my off time when I wasn't working so much. And I completely atrophied this infraspinatus muscle here. Like, you could see the muscle was not there, and you could actually touch my shoulder blade, which is gross. But I had to learn how to rehab that and to develop the muscle back and everything like that. And I wound up winning Rookie of the Year in archery in 2012. And since then, I've had quite a few other major injuries. I fell out of a vehicle and I broke my tailbone in 2016. And I've had, in 2017, I re-broke my tailbone trying to break down the scar tissue. And between 2015 and 2018, I had a cast on either one of my hands for four summers. So I've torn so many ligaments and tendons, it's ridiculous. But I also decided to modify how I work and started looking into changing my career so that I don't have to depend on my hands and my body to help other people. I want to teach people how they can help themselves. And so I decided to go to school for craniosacral to help not only my issues with my sacrum, but I deal with so many people with TMJ, and I've actually had TMJ surgery twice because everything's been messed up, and it turns out that a broken tailbone will directly affect your jaw and how your body works. So craniosacral therapy was great, but I found I couldn't do it because I literally couldn't put my fingers under a person's head and handle the weight of a head for an extended period of time because of my wrists and the damage that I did. So I did get Cranio 1 and 2, and then at the end of 2018, I decided to cancel the rest of my craniosacral classes, and I decided that I was going to go to school to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition to learn how to be a health coach and to learn the business side of it, because I've been basically health coaching people for 26 years, but I give the information away to my clients because I love them, and I give the information away for free because I love to help people, and now I need to make it into my business. So I will be teaching you on my YouTube channel ways of helping heal yourself and ways of dealing with different physical issues and how you need to address your body nutritionally, how you need to have a more positive beginning of every morning, and the importance of breathing and breathing with intention and meditation and all the different aspects, and getting out into nature and having joy in your personal relationships and your business relationships, and healthy cooking and cooking at home and different things like that is all the stuff that we'll be going over. And I just barely touched on some of my injuries. So I truly, truly know pain, and I know how to help get you to a point where the pain might not be completely gone, but damn, it can be so much better than where you are if you do things like having good posture and maybe sleeping in a better way. And these are all things we're going to go over the next however long I'm going to be doing this. And I look forward to meeting and talking to most of you, or a lot of you, and helping you in any way I can, because I've been there, unfortunately, and I've made it through. And I'm a very happy person, and I just love to help people, and it does help me. And anything that I can show you on this channel, if it helps you, please share it, and actually go out there and teach other people where you work, teach your family members, teach your friends who have similar issues. I mean, if you have upper back and neck pain, everybody does, because our whole world is looking down and crunching up. I'm going to show you how to get through and improve all of that. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to a long future of helping everyone and hearing what's going on in your life. Thank you.